Welcome to the channel. I'm Kay here with your latest political news. In today's political news, we are talking about all of the October surprises that has happened so far this month. We are only 5 days into the month of October, and already the news cycle is changing so quickly, so rapidly, that we are no longer talking about the vice presidential debate that had happened this past Tuesday. JD Vance did his very best impression of Ted Cruz and then quickly went back on the campaign trail to push his conspiracy. The news cycle is changing so quickly that we are no longer even talking about the dock workers strike that started and ended so quickly that people did not have enough time to panic buy their toilet paper. I honestly expected this union strike to go on a lot longer than it actually did. I expected it to last up until the election. After looking into Harold Deggets, that's the president of the ULA, he had an interesting background. He is friends with Donald Trump. They go way back to their days in the Bronx. They're the same age. They've known each other for quite some time. And he also met with Donald Trump back in November of last year. Why you would meet with a president that cannot help you in an upcoming negotiation, I didn't understand that at all. That's neither here nor there. But we do know that had this strike gone on for a little bit longer, this would have had a negative impact on the economy. Of course, President Biden and Vice President Harris would have gotten the blame for it because President Biden could have ordered them back for, I believe it was 90 days, but he said that he was not going to do that. So if this was an attempt to try and help Donald Trump, it failed miserably. Let's move on and talk about the bombshell that happened So Judge Tanya Chutkan unsealed the motion that Jack Smith put before the court, laying out his case as to why Donald Trump is not immune from being prosecuted in the January 6th case. If we all remember, this past summer, the Supreme Court granted Donald Trump immunity from any official acts as president. And it was up to Judge Tanya Chutkan to see if anything that he did during January 6th falls under the umbrella of an official act as president. And Jack Smith is like, no, we are absolutely not going to do that. And here is why. He laid it out beautifully in this 165-page document, telling us behind the scenes of what took place leading up to January 6th. It's a bit of a doozy for Donald Trump. Let's get into some of that. I would not consider this to be an October surprise. It just happens to fall in the month of October. And if anybody knows anything about Donald Trump surrounding anything with him having to do with the legal system, there are two things that Donald Trump loves to do. He loves to delay, and he loves to delay. Everybody knows that. The other thing that Donald Trump also loves to do is he loves to have his attorneys file an appeal. Donald Trump appeals everything. Anything that he doesn't like, it's an appeal. And this causes cases to be tied up in court for months, sometimes even years. And this is what happened. This could have been something that happened last year or earlier this year, and Donald Trump could have gotten this behind him. But, of course, he had his attorney file an appeal to keep this from coming to light. And it just so happened that it fell in the month of October. And so here we are. And so in this 165-page document, Jack Smith is taking us behind the scenes of what was going on leading up to January 6th. Donald Trump had already set the tone, and he had already said that even if no winner is declared, I am going to say that I am the winner. Even if the ballots aren't counted, even if the tabulation isn't complete in any other state, I'm going to declare that I am the winner. And that's exactly what he did. He also got Mike Pence involved, and there is so much details coming from Mike Pence's own words, saying what him and Donald Trump talked about. Donald Trump wanted Mike Pence to decertify the election. Mike Pence is telling him, dude, I I can't do that. Who do you think I am? I'm not able to do. And Donald Trump is like, yes, you are. Go ahead and do it, Mike. You can do it. And if you don't do it, I'm going to have to say publicly that you did us a great disservice. And we all know Donald Trump did that because he did it in real time on January 6th. He tweeted out that Mike Pence did not have, basically saying that Mike Pence was a coward. As Mike Pence is running away from the mob that attacked the Capitol. And during this time, an aide rushes in and tells Donald Trump that Mike Pence is trying to get to safety and we think he is safe. Donald Trump is like, and? So what? Like, what are you telling me for? This is all laid out in this 165-page document. And leading up to that particular day, Mike Pence's aide, they don't say exactly, they don't give names. They have P5, P15, and this is person 5. They have redacted the name. Mike Pence's aide is so alarmed by the conversation that Mike Pence had with Donald Trump that he alerted Secret Service. Like, hey, you guys need to step up your game just in case. All of this is happening. You have people that are running around like Rudy Giuliani and other redacted names that are encouraging the riot. They wanted this to happen is basically what is laid out. And Jack Smith is saying Donald Trump knew about it. He encouraged it. And we can see it as plain as day. His tweets, they used Donald Trump's own words. Aides testified and said that this is what Donald Trump was saying, even though we were telling him that he did not win the election. This is what he wanted us to do. And we all got a glimpse into all of the things that Donald Trump was saying because some of the people that work for him found their moral compass and came out publicly and basically told us what was happening behind the scenes during this time leading up to January 6th and on January 6th. We all heard about it. Some of it we knew, some of it we did not know. But in this 165-page document, it makes the case that there were people that were actively trying to overturn this election, the 2020 election, which leads a lot of concerns for this upcoming election. I think that what they're doing now, because they have attorneys dispatched all over the battleground states, I think that they have gotten smarter about what worked and what did not work, which is why I am very concerned about what's going to happen leading up to the election and after the election should Kamala Harris win. And one thing that I want to point out is that for all the questioning about when Republicans are asked, are you going to accept the results of the election? I don't know when this became a thing, but somehow it is. And all Republicans who support Donald Trump gets asked this question. And they're all like, if it's free and fair. And questions like what tanked J.D. Vance in the vice presidential debate when he was asked, did Donald Trump win the 2020 election? And he would not even answer the question. But the one thing that they don't ask some of the candidates is, you won in your race, but Donald Trump lost. How is it that the election is rigged if you won? Nobody has ever asked these Republicans that question. You were able to win your race, but Donald Trump lost. So was your run or your election not rigged like his word? I don't understand why they never asked that question, but that's neither here nor there. I encourage you all, if you have not read some of it, the New York Times as well as the Washington Post and Politico, The Hill, a lot of them do a great job of summarizing some of the most important parts of this 165-page document. I read the entire thing and there is a lot going on in there. So this is a bit of I'm really not going to spend a lot of time on this, but an October surprise, on the second day of October, a story dropped about Kamala Harris's husband, Doug, saying that he smacked his ex-girlfriend. There was not a lot of coverage or reporting on it. This was reported by the Daily Mail and the New York Post. And to me, those two are equivalent to the National Enquirer. If you know, you know. It read like salacious gossip. It read like a really bad hit piece, because they went on to talk about his so-called or alleged relationship with the nanny and his daughter's nanny, and that he told this particular ex-girlfriend that he had paid the nanny off. She had gotten pregnant. He had paid her off and made her sign an NDA. Now, let's keep in mind, Doug is an attorney. I don't think an attorney would talk about an NDA that he made someone sign. That's just me. I don't know. I'm not a legal expert, but it just seems like this is not something that you would talk about. So this story goes on and on about the nanny, about his relationship with his ex-wife, and his relationship, his 3-month relationship with this girlfriend that he allegedly slapped in the face. This was coming off of the heels of an interview that he did with Jen Psaki from MSNBC, where he talked about how he was so supportive of women and how he believed that women should have the right to choose, and how women should be independent and do exactly what they that women can do exactly what they put their minds to. If you read it, you will understand what I'm saying by it read like a hit piece in salacious gossip. Hence why I'm not going to read anything that is being reported in that. And I'm not being biased. It's just that it just does not pass the smell test. So I'm not going to get into it here on my channel. Let's move on. We are circling the block on Melania Trump. Melania Trump came out with a video. I am going to play the video for you. And of course, we are going to be back on the other side to talk about it. Take a look.
Individual freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard. Without a doubt, there is no room for compromise when it comes to this essential right that all women possess from birth: individual freedom. What does my body, my choice really mean?
Girl, first of all, come out of the shadows. That's number one. Number two, what? Where was this attitude about individual freedom and being pro-choice when your man was picking the Three Stooges to put on the Supreme Court to take away women's reproductive rights? Now, see, here's the thing about Melania. Now, I don't know if this video was meant to, I know she's promoting a book. However, I don't know if this video is to help Donald Trump or to stand on her own and her truth. I can't call it, because Donald Trump has been going out there, of course, saying that it's states should decide. We're kicking it back to the states. It's what people have always wanted. No, people have always wanted to be able to choose. Women have always wanted the right to choose. So I'm not sure if this video is in support of trying to help him thread that message, or if this is just Melania trying to do what she needs to do to sell books, and this is really how she feels. That's the problem. You can't really decide. So, girl, it's a no for me. I'm sorry. It's a no for me. I am glad that you are pro-choice and women should have the right to choose to do whatever it is that they want with their bodies. But you have said nothing. This entire time you've said nothing. And now you want us to read your book. So you come out with this video, and now everybody is like, well, is she doing this for her husband? Or is she doing this for herself? And your people could say, gotta read the books to find out. Well, you know what? We're not going to do that. We really don't care, do you? We're not gonna read your book to find out what your stance is. No. You had an opportunity to speak your truth when you were first lady, and you didn't do that. So we are definitely not going to read your book, and we're not going to buy whatever message it is that you're selling. There's that on that. Now, here is the last one I consider to be an October surprise. Donald Trump is making his rounds, and he is telling everybody that the federal government, President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris are doing nothing to help the hurricane victims. That they are giving only $750 to the hurricane victims, and they are taking the rest of the money, and giving it to immigrants. Illegal immigrants, in his words. So the report comes out that during the California wildfires, Donald Trump did not want to help the state of California because he figured that they voted against him. One of his advisors had to show him the amount of people that voted for him in this particular area, and he reluctantly gave in. This is what Donald Trump did. And I don't know why any of us are surprised, because we saw what he did when Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico. Donald Trump delayed their aid. He delayed helping them. Like, he seriously delayed helping them. He helped Texas within 10 days, and it took him 45 days to approve the same aid that he approved for Texas. He did it in 10 days, and it took him 45 days. But Puerto Rico should have been happy. He brought them paper towel and threw it at them. I mean, but this is who Donald Trump is. He thinks that because he engages in this behavior that everybody does it. And that is what he does on the campaign trail. It's all about projection. He's telling them they're not helping you. The federal government isn't helping you because they're giving money to immigrants, which is essentially what Donald Trump did during his time as president. Right before hurricane season hit, during his time as president, Donald Trump took over $150 million from FEMA and the Coast Guard, which was set for the hurricane relief, and put it towards deported immigrants. Donald Trump did that. He did that. So he thinks that because he does this nonsense, choose my words carefully, that everybody engages in it. And it's just simply not true. But that's who he is. I don't know that this is going to have any type of impact on how people feel or how people think about things, because being a victim during a natural disaster and then trying to capitalize on that for political gain is just, it's horrible. It's horrible, and I expect nothing less from Donald Trump. But trying to convince people that they are not receiving the help that they should be because money is being taken away from them is simply nonsense. And the people that are spreading this lies, the Republicans in Congress that are spreading these lies, literally just voted against hurricane aid, increasing the amount of money for aid. Let that sink in. So here are my final thoughts. These October surprises are a whopper for more reasons than one. And we are only 5 days into October. To say that we are just getting started in this month is an understatement. We are already 5 days in, and it feels like we've been doing this now for 15, 20 days. I only expect the news cycle to change as quickly as it is right now. Before we can talk about one thing and discuss it into its entirety, we are already moving on to the next conversation. We are already moving on to the next big thing. So the only thing that I could say is buckle up, because this October is going to be a hell of a ride. As always, I am going to touch some grass. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.